All right, guys. Hello and welcome to this special edition. It's actually a double potty.
Double.
So this is going to go on both the Radiant Woman podcast and Freedom with Kristie. So
It's a double whammy.
it's a
really?
double whammy.
2 in one go. How's it get any better?
I don't think it does.
Well, I'm
Oh my
excited. This is my
goodness.
second episode, so I'm excited. And you guys need to stay until the end because we're going to share some pretty juicy things.
Yeah.
As part of the release of my podcast, I've been doing epic giveaways. I just did a $19,000 prize pool
my
off the
God.
back end of my first episode.
Oh my God.
And today
I need to up my game.
She's like, ooh. And today we're doing some more epic giveaways. So stay until the
Stay
end.
tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
So today's episode is all around radiant success. Yeah, and so we're gonna get deep and juicy
Balls
around
deep.
balls deep. We're going balls deep. Around what does radiant success actually mean for both of us, and what did it look like when we didn't have radiant success? It's like, what's the old way versus the new way? So should we
my
start
God.
there? Like, what?
I'm already turned on.
There's a lot of sensual vibes going on in this room
is so
today.
good. It's like if it doesn't turn me on, I don't want it in my life, you
Yeah,
know?
great. Write that down. That's a quote right there from Chi. So when we say radiant success, what does that actually mean to you?
What does radiant success mean to me? Yes. Well, okay. I feel like the answer to this question is actually answering both of these questions because I feel like I need to give context. Let's go. Let's dive straight in. So, okay. Well, for me, I think, I've been entrepreneuring for 10 years now. And for the first few years, it was very much let's call it the traditional way of entrepreneuring and personal development, where it was, I guess you could call it masculine, but I would also call it, very mind-led and just all about discipline and mindset and strategy and all of that kind of energy, which is obviously there's nothing wrong with that because we need that. And even I'm going to say it's interesting sometimes too, because what I've witnessed in being so deep in the feminine embodiment space is that women then they swing the pendulum so far on the other side where it's like they wake up of oh my God, I've been so disconnected from my feminine, and then they swing so much into that direction that they actually then judge their masculine energy and they go too much into their they lose the balance. And it's no, actually, yes, of course, as women at our core we're feminine energy, but we have both, right? And especially in we're in business. We need to take action. We need to think. We need to get shit done too. So we need the healthy integration of both. But the key here was for me just kind of, being so deep in that world in the early days and then having my son. And after having River, which was about 7 years ago now, I just kind of woke up to realizing how I got really bad postpartum depression and all of my childhood stuff, traumas surfaced. And I went to a kinesiologist and she was like, you have 0% life force energy. And I was just so burnt out and so depleted. And I feel like this is what happens when we're disconnected from our feminine energy, right? Because it's the feminine energy is nourishing. It's nourishing, it's life-giving. And so when we're only in our masculine and we're disconnected from our true essence as women, that is very depleting. And so it was around that time that I started asking the question, which was simply, at that time, I didn't even have awareness of I've been in my masculine, now I need to get into my feminine. All I knew was that I felt like I wanted to die. And I felt like I had no life left in me. I felt like the Walking Dead. And so my prayer was please God, what is going to bring me back to life? And that's when Koya came in, which is so amazing because that's how we bonded and connected was through Koya. And Koya changed my life because it taught me how to get out of my head and into my body. It taught me how important sisterhood is in my life. It taught me that, yeah, of course, everything that I need is within me. And at the same time, we need each other to thrive. Like, as mums in business, we need sisterhood. Like, it's so necessary and it's so nourishing. Like, so it really opened up this whole new world for me of finally, for the first time in my life, stopping. It's like I was always just going, or distracting myself. And I finally had to just stop and be with myself and come back into my body. And at first that was challenging because, you know, the creator of Koya, Rochelle Sheik, she says the first thing that happens when a woman gets into her body is she meets her grief. Because so many of us women, and it's funny, I'm actually wanting to do my next podcast around grief. But I think so many women, men too, are walking around with just so much suppressed grief. And that is actually costing us our joy. And yeah, so I mean, it's been a huge journey. And I think the biggest thing in relation to business for me was that, yes, I got results doing business the, let's say, old way of being disconnected from my body and from my feminine. But how that showed up was like, I got the result, but I had to work really hard. Like, I had to really bust my ass to get the result. And then B was, when I got the result, I didn't feel how I thought I would feel when I got there. And like, I know you've experienced the same thing, but that was so confronting. It's like working so hard because I just want to feel good enough. I just want to feel loved. And then getting there and being like, oh, I have it and I still don't feel good enough. So nowadays you've seen it as like still to date, my biggest cash month ever was when I was just frolicking about in Hawaii for 10 days. And like now I make the most money, not when I work the hardest, but when I'm experiencing the most joy and when I'm just honoring myself. So it's like I can have a day where like me and you, like it's a Wednesday, it's my goddess day. Every Wednesday I have a goddess day. We're frolicking about in Byron Bay, going to bathhouses, like just totally being in our joy, just following what lights us up. And, you know, I have a 5K day or like a 10K day. And it's just like, that is the difference, is that to me now, the message of my whole brand now from that personal journey is your radiance is the key to your success. And
I love that.
Yeah.
That's juicy.
It's hot, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like for me, and I love that everything,
Yeah.
ditto to everything that you just said. And it's been such a journey for me as well. Like this, like, well, what does radiant success actually mean and look like? And
Yeah.
I feel like it's less about what we do as women and it's more about who we be. And it's really about like living in alignment with our truth and living in alignment with our values and living in alignment with our purpose and the things that actually really light us up. And, you know, you were talking the other day about burnout and we had this really great conversation. It's like, so many women get burnt out, but it's like, they're not actually in their joy. They're not actually connected to themselves. They're not actually doing the things that are actually lighting them up. And when we are doing the things from a place of being lit up, that is what is magnetizing, right? And now I don't do anything out of obligation, like literally nothing. I don't even make plans anymore because I'm not sure if that's what I actually want to do at that time. You know, like some people like book their holidays like a year in advance. And we always talk about this. And I'm like, I just don't understand, Jane. Like, how do people know that they want to go on a holiday in a year? Right? Like, you might be a totally different version of yourself. You might not want to go to Romania in a year. You might want to go to France. Like, how do you know this? Like, I literally just really live now in a very, like, present space of, like, what is actually unfolding? What's the next thing that's really lighting me up and really excites me? And when I live from that place and not a place of obligation anymore, it's like it's so freeing and it's so liberating, because then we just get to follow what is actually true for us. And that doesn't mean that you just change your mind, like you change your underwear of like, oh, well, I was doing this thing and now it just doesn't feel in alignment, and so I'm going to go do this thing. Like, that's not what I'm talking about.
No.
I'm talking about having like a vision, and I'm talking about creating impact and being in alignment with what you're doing and your purpose, and having the consistency and the discipline and the healthy habits, but also like knowing which parts light you up. Like, there was so many times back in the day that I was doing things in my business, like I was really aligned to my vision, but I was doing all of these things that weren't my skill set, weren't my strength, weren't what I wanted to be doing. I was doing them out of obligation because I felt like I had to, like all of those pieces.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like this concept of radiant success. It's about redefining what success feels like as a woman.
Oh, I love that.
Because
what
it's about,
success feels like.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's what it feels like, right? And we know when we feel radiant, when we feel good. And there was so many times of my business journey where it was like I was trying to earn my worthiness. And I think women are trying to earn their worthiness rather than understand and know that they are, you know, you talk about this all the time as well, like inherently worthy. It's like that's who we are. We are worthy. We are worthy of whatever it is that we desire, right? We don't have to earn our worth. And so I was always trying to like either prove my worth or earn my worth or whatever. And yeah, like for me, I mean, my journey at the start, like it's interesting because I've heard this before. It was like the female usually like models what she sees in her father in business. And so my father was in business, but he was a workaholic, and he was very much like, I saw him go through a massive nervous breakdown and, you know, all these different things. And so I saw that and modeled that. And we model, you know, we what we see as a child is oftentimes what we're going to model. And I got into my adult life, and even like when I was an employee, I was like working 18 hours a day from the time I was like 18, right? Like that was what success looked like to me.
Yeah.
And so I was a worker, I was a workaholic. That's how I was proving my worth. That's how I was earning my worth.
Yeah.
And I was always reaching this burnout. You know, I'd get to these places where I was just like, I can't keep going like this. And I would just push and push and push and push. And even when I started business, you know, I had many different entrepreneurial failures. That's a whole other podcast on the amount of failures, but I had a lot of failures. And then when I stepped into this space of like now, you know, the high ticket sales space that I'm in, and I started to have success, you know, it was very much from more of an energy of hustle and grind and, you know, working 18 hours a day, which, you know, there's a place and a time for that, I think, as an entrepreneur in business, you know, when we're setting foundations, right? There is a place and a time and a season to go all in to establish the roots and the foundation. But oftentimes what I've experienced is that we actually create business from almost like a trauma response, right?
Yeah.
Which can serve us. It absolutely can serve us. It served me.
Yeah.
But then it gets to a point where we are capped and there's a ceiling.
Yeah.
So what I experienced was, you know, a lot of being in the hustle and the grind, and a lot of like masculine energy being very disconnected to my feminine energy, not even really knowing what that meant. Like if you had asked me like 5 years ago, like about feminine embodiment work, I literally would laugh at you. I laughed at Chi. I was like, I don't even understand what you're talking about. I don't even have any time for that. That sounds really lame and boring. I got shit to do. I've got business meetings to be in.
Yeah.
So, you know, this wasn't something that like was in my sphere. You know, I saw people talking about it, but I was like, I don't really understand any of that. You know, I couldn't rest. I couldn't switch off. Like I found that all of that very hard. I was living my life out of a lot of obligation. And it came to a point where I was doing really, really well in business and, you know, having all of the success and, you know, earning my worth and proving my worth and all of these things. But then I felt miserable. And I remember having a $200,000 month, and I literally felt dead within. And I was like, wow, like it's not about how much money we make, right? It's about how we feel while we make the money. Yeah. And so I had to really strip things back. And that's when I met you. That's when I started working with you. I was the hardest client to work with. The worst. Would never show up to our meetings. And she lived in my house for a while to make sure I would show up to the meetings, and I didn't. You know, anyway, I was sabotaging a lot. But
Yeah.
bit by bit, you know,
Can
things.
I say
Yes,
something
of
quickly
course.
on that too? Is like, because I love that you say I was sabotaging, and it's like I heard something so great recently, which I knew, but it was put in a way that was like really. I was like, that is epic, and it was. We don't sabotage ourselves because we hate ourselves. We sabotage ourselves because we love ourselves to keep ourselves safe.
Yeah.
And I think this is so interesting because it's like when you share about like, you know, you're like, feminine embodiment, what is that? Pff, you know, I got shit to do. I'm a badass bitch. Like, I'm a boss. And it's like, yeah, because to be into our feminine, we need to feel safe.
Yeah.
So it's like you were sabotaging coming more into your feminine energy, into your body, because it didn't feel safe. Like it wasn't what you had known your whole life.
Didn't feel safe to feel, to cry.
Yeah.
Any of that. And
Yeah.
then I remember spending a lot of time crying because I started to feel, and I was like, gee, this doesn't feel very good, babe. I've got things to do, and all this sitting around crying is not helpful. Okay. She's like, trust the process, babe. It's like everything's coming to the surface for you to feel, to heal. I'm like, okay, all right, okay. So it felt murky. It felt like a bit messy, you know, and that's part of the journey. It's like, it felt like to feel is, oftentimes we shut down our emotions. And for me, I just kind of had shut down all emotions. I found it very hard to feel a lot of different emotions, whether it was joy or whether it was anger or whether it was grief or whatever. I just felt very numb. And so this work was really powerful. And so now it's like this, if I look back at 5 years ago, the version of me to now, it's like the new way feels when we are so like we're in our joy, you know, we're doing everything from a place of joy. And we are, as I said, like living in our truth, living in our impact, living on mission, living in our vision, doing it with joy, having fun. Like 2 weeks ago, I was having this really hard day. And sometimes we do as mums, right? Like that ain't all perfect, that's for sure. The kids were fighting and the kids were screaming, and I was just feeling really like, oh, you know what? I haven't had like a great deal of like fun lately. Even though I try to infuse fun into my life, you know, it's like there's also a lot to manage. It's like you've got the kids, you've got the husband, you've got yourself to look after, you've got, you know, business, like, you know. And one of the things we always talk about is the more fun you have, the more money you make. And same, it's like for me now, it's like when I just go and have fun and I'm living my epic life, and I'm oftentimes it's when I'm traveling and I'm flying first class to Dubai, and you know, people just literally message me and they're like, "Oh, I want to get started," and all of a sudden I've made like $5,000 to $10,000
because that's what people actually want. Exactly. Like we went in a pink limo, a pink Hummerzine the other day up to like a Japanese bathhouse that we pretty much got kicked out of. We're like drinking champagne at 10 in the morning. And the next day I literally had an 11K day, and I was like, you can't make this shit up.
I had like a $10,000 day the next day.
Boom.
It's like, like 2 weeks ago I was literally having this like hard day with the kids, and I was like, you know what? We need to go and have some fun. I'm going to get all the mums in the area. I'm booking a pink limo, and we're going to go and have this epic day.
It was so good.
It was just so good.
If you've seen the reels, go check out our Instagrams because it was so
such
funny.
a hoot. It was such a hoot.
Good.
Like for a group of women who don't really drink, I did on the way in the Hummer. It was like Vegas vibes. I was like, I feel like we're like mums in Vegas. They're having this like naughty kind of 6-hour break while our kids are, you know, being looked after or at school or whatever. And so I was like, oh, it's 10 a.m. The bottle-o's open. Like I'm going to run in and get some champagne. Next minute I'm like, you know, waltzing in with my glittery unicorn dress on, and I'm like getting all these champagnes and putting them on the counter, and I was like, I said to the guy, I'm like, do you think this is too much champagne for like a group of ladies at 10 a.m? He's like, I really don't know. And I was like, I better get some more. So I'm like grabbing a few more bottles, and then next minute I come out, I've got like 9 bottles of champagne, and
I was expecting you to come out with one bottle. She's like carrying 10 bottles of champagne.
But we literally just spent the day laughing and having fun and being in our joy, and we literally got back and people were like making sales. Like everyone was like, that's the energy and the fun
that's
that
the
I
vibe.
really needed. That was the vibe. And it's like the more that we can infuse, that's what it means to me. Radiant success means that we infuse fun and joy and play into everything that we're doing, because when we are in that vibration and frequency,
such a high frequency.
It's such a high frequency. People are magnetized to us. People want to work with us, and then people just kind of throw money at you. So it's like, hello, go have some more fun. If people say to me their business isn't working, I'm like, how much fun have you had recently? Like, are you actually feeling lit up? Are you actually in your joy? Like, Or are you hating your life? You know, like we've got to also,
Uh-huh.
as part of this journey, clean up our life. Like where are we doing things?
Where are we living the should life?
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing, and everything you're sharing is like, it's like, where are we living from a place of should? Like, it's like, well, this is what it means to be a mum. And it's so interesting too, I think, also being a mum and a business owner, because I feel like motherhood and entrepreneurship can come with like, this is what it means to be in both of those roles. This is how you need to be, act, look, etc. in both of those roles.
Yeah.
And like, I know for me,
We're breaking the paradigm.
yeah, like I remember a few months after I became a mum, I literally looked in the mirror and I looked in my wardrobe, and I had this moment of like, what the fuck am I doing? I don't even like any of these fucking clothes that I've just gone out and bought. I literally bought them because I thought this is how a mum dresses.
Oh.
Yeah, like
What, like
what
from
the fuck?
Nonnies or something? Like Witchery. You went to like one of those old lady stores. You're like, I'm a mum now. I better like buy all this.
Yeah,
like,
but I like cut
old
my
lady
hair
stuff.
into a bob, and I like, yeah, was like dressing, I guess, like more sensibly. It's like, what the fuck?
That is
But
so lame.
there's so much. I know, but it's like, shut up. But there is so much conditioning that comes with like,
There is.
this is what it means to be a mum, and you know, you got to be all sensible and responsible, and you can't be sexual, like, and then it's like, this is what it, and also I think there's just so much in entrepreneurship. Then I think there's a lot of seriousness.
Oh, yeah.
It's
So
like,
serious.
yeah, it's like, oh, if you want to be seen as like a leader and someone who is an authority and gets paid a lot of money, you need to be like serious, right? So that people will take you seriously. And like, ladies, I just came back from a friggin' conference where ladies were making $1 million months. They were the opposite of serious. Like, it was actually so funny this one moment. So Shoshana, who was running it, she literally left her shoes on stage. She forgot about them. And Mama Gina, who's like a friggin' legend, right, comes on stage and trips up.
Oh, I saw that in a story. I was like, did she just fall over?
She tripped over Shoshana's shoes that she left on the
That is
stage.
hilarious.
But it was like, it was just the best. It was such a permission piece of yeah, these are the paradigms that we're breaking down. We're breaking down the shoulds.
Yeah.
Of like, this is who I need to be and how I need to act, and trying to put ourselves into a box of who we think we should be to be successful in that role.
Yeah. Somebody said to me the other day, like, you know, I think you should like get rid of all of your humor, funny reels, because like if you want to be more of an authority. And I was like,
Nah.
absolutely not. That's part of who I am. Like that
Exactly.
is literally who I am.
Yeah.
Like, so no, I'm not going to do that, because the new way of success is like, if people don't like who you are, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like we need to be authentic and true to who we are. And also that takes also getting to know who we are. You know, I think there's a lot of talk about like you know, just be who you are and be authentic and be true to you and blah, blah, blah. But a lot of people, because they have been literally living these lives that are
They're
so
buried
far
under layers of
disconnected.
conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of beliefs that aren't ours, limitations that aren't ours,
Yeah.
you know, patterns that aren't ours, like all
Yep.
of that, because we've been so conditioned our whole lives until we kind of have this like awakening. It's like we actually have to discover who we are.
Yeah.
You know, what are, like you said at the beginning, it's like, if it doesn't turn me on, I'm not about it. It's like, what are the things that turn you on? You know, like,
Yeah.
what gets that pussy wet?
Yes. I love it. There was actually one of the it was so good. Like at Living Brave Live, Mama Jean is doing her piece and she's asking ladies in the audience questions, and one of the chicks, she stands up, she's like, I'm just so horny like all the time. She's like, yeah, my pussy's just wet all the time.
I did not expect it to go this direction.
This is like in a room of 1,000 female entrepreneurs, and then next minute, Mama Jane is like, "All right, can we have the theme song on?" And it's like, "Do it now, Nick." And there's like 1,000 women singing this. It was just the best energy.
So funny. But it's take this and apply it to whatever that means to you, right? It's just like, I think there's a lot of, I've spoken to a lot of mothers who are living in motherhood slumber because, as you said, it's like we should do motherhood this way.
Yeah.
We can't take a vacation away from our kids. We can't, have time away and, blah, 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 blah. And it's like
we're putting the friggin' shackles on ourselves.
Yeah, like where do we need to take the shackles off and actually start to find out, like if that's the question, like if you're watching this podcast or listening to it and you're still at this stage of your journey where you're like, I'm not actually sure what my truth is, like we've all been there, right? So it's like, that's your starting point.
That's the journey.
That's actually the journey to go on is like, well, because if you want to go and build a brand and a business, to do that authentically, you need to know who you are.
Yeah.
Right? Like I've gone on this journey and I know deeply who I am, the pillars of me and my expression and, all of that. So I'm able to share that within my brand, which then people want to work with me versus anybody else because I'm certain on that.
Because it's magnetic, because deep down that's actually what everyone wants.
Yeah.
Right? It's like if we can embody, I know who I am and I'm authentic, I feel like in this world, people being who they truly are is like a breath of fresh air. It's like people, it's like the oxygen people are starving for, or like the water people are so like dehydrated for, is like when people, because we live in a world where it's fucked up, but the truth is, I feel like the most bravest thing or courageous thing you can do is just be who you truly are. Because we are herd animals as humans. We're meant to live in tribes. And so literally on such a deep primal nervous system level, we're wired to want to belong because we know that when we belong, we have a greater sense of survival, chance of survival. And this is why it can be so challenging, but it's also why it's so important. Like it's paramount that we find our people too, who love and accept us and see us for who we truly are.
Yeah. So let's talk about two things that I really want to talk about is environment and health and capacity and energy. Like health, capacity, vitality, energy is like one piece.
Yes.
And environment. So let's talk about environment because that is really important. And obviously you've just come back from, it's funny.
I flew in from Vancouver last night.
And, when she and I met, we've known each other for a long time, but basically 5 years ago, we really became besties. And
our anniversary is pretty much in our bed.
And, we've been on this beautiful journey together and we have this amazing friendship and we're always growing, we're both always growing. And so we're able to then meet each other at this new edges and new levels of growth that we're both going on.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of fun together and we do a lot of frolicking together and, all of the things. And it was like, this was like the sister I was always looking for, and I think same for you, for me.
Yeah.
And then Cheese just got back from this amazing event, which I was meant to be at, but, I was in a should space. No, I wasn't. I actually followed what was true to me, which was to actually be at home with my children. And sometimes that is the truth for me, you know, but I did have a lot of FOMO. And she came back and she's like, it was like being with 1,000 of you, It's like back home we have each other. And then it was like going to this whole room of 1,000 of us, which is epic. So let's talk about why, especially on this journey, environment is so key.
Do you know, as you're saying that, what the memory that pops into my head, right, is when we were living at Beeson Court, and which was where we
all of us, by the way, they were living with us.
Yeah. So it was like this beachfront mansion that Kristie and Clint were living in 5 years ago, and we came and we stayed with them for a couple months, and I have this memory of I was in the kitchen. And I think River, my son, was there, and I was just being me, right? And probably getting a bit triggered or something about whatever was happening with River, or trying to work out the dishwasher, which is not my genius zone. Yeah. And Kristie was just watching me. Do you remember that? Yeah. She was just standing there watching me, and she said to me, such a clear memory. She's like, "You're just like me."
Yeah.
it was like, and it was this moment. And I just feel like when you can meet the people who are so similar to you, and this is especially for those of us who are not normal, right? We don't fit in with the masses. And like, I know for me, is like most of my life I've felt like I don't belong. It's like, where do I belong in this world?
Yeah.
Like, and it is one of the most, to me, meaningful things. I don't even know the word for it, is like when we met and you were just so similar, it's like this validation of like,
these are my people.
but like all this time that, you know, I've been feeling like I don't belong, or, you know, those moments where it's like you're sharing your heart and you're just met with like blank stare, like crickets. And in those moments, because I'm the only one experiencing that, I doubt myself or I judge myself and go, am I wrong? Like, am I actually just seeing things the wrong way? Or
is there something wrong with me?
Is there something wrong with me? And then so it's so healing to have those people in your life. It's like, oh my God, I'm not alone in this. I'm not fucking crazy. Well, I am, but that's a good thing. Like, it's there's nothing wrong with me. It's like, that's been one of the most, the most healing things for me, is like with our friendship and just being in those spaces where you're just so seen and so validated. Like,
well, that's why it's important to be part of movements, right?
Yeah.
Like, we both run movements, we both run communities, and that's why it's important to be in those spaces. Like, we're always putting ourselves in environments where we're expanded and we're almost feeling like the dumbest person in the room, and you know, all of that, but putting ourselves into environments that are like, oh, I feel at home here, I feel like I belong here, I feel like, you know, it's that sense of like relief, like I'm not the only crazy person that wants to you know, create all this epic shit and live an epic life. I'm not the only one. And it was so funny when I met Chi, because literally, like, she couldn't use a dishwasher, and I was like, neither can I. So I literally felt a sense of belonging in home, because she also
do laundry.
couldn't use the dishwasher, didn't do laundry. And she
found parenting extremely challenging.
Yes, found parenting extremely challenging, and was trying to use the Thermomix, and she just honestly, it's the most simple machine to use, and every time she would just stand there and like wave her arms around as though it was going to magically turn on itself, and I was like, what? Who is this chick? She's literally exactly like me. And
it's
so
like we're so retarded at certain things, but then we're just like, you know, can make 6 or 7 figures in our business.
I'm like, I just like to stay and do what I'm good at, right? I like to sell, I like to impact, and you know, I like to frolic around.
Crushing sales and making bank and frolicking.
That's exactly.
That's what we're good at.
To stick to, right? So environment is really important, and getting yourself into movements, communities, spaces where you do feel seen and you do belong, and doing whatever you can to always get in those rooms. You know, like, it wasn't comfortable for you to fly to the other side of the world where you didn't know anyone, but you knew you had to be in that room. You know, like doing the uncomfortable stuff to make sure that you are in these spaces, masterminds, movements, rooms, etc., that do expand you and show you that there is no limits. Like, there's the sky isn't even the limit, you know?
Totally.
So environment, obviously, very important. We're going to talk a little bit more about that soon.
Final thing about environment is just fun fact is literally, so when you're with a group of people, like, your nervous system will literally calibrate to their nervous system. So like, meaning, let's say that you're in a room where it's normal to make $1 million months, to risk losing $500,000, where it's normal to fly across the world for a 2-day event. Your nervous system is literally going to calibrate to that being the new normal, and it's not going to feel as intense or scary. Because it's like, if you like go into complete panic zone over, let's say, the risk of losing $3,000 or a few $100s, or it's like, what hope do you have? Like, this is the game that we're in as entrepreneurs. What hope are you going to have of like when challenges happen? And it's not like if there are going to be challenges in your journey as an entrepreneur, it's just when and what are they going to be, right? And so, yeah, I just wanted to drop that in there of like that is also the power. You're literally, the environment you're in is going to decide like where you're at in your nervous system and your capacity to take risks and what is normal. Like, yeah.
Exactly. You've got to be around people that are holding a whole new standard and what is the new normal, rather than like you always feeling like you're the crazy one. You know, like you got to get with the other crazies, the other non-normies.
Totally. That's like
get out of the normies and get with people.
Get into the 3%.
Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So let's talk about let's wrap this up with the energetics piece and like energy and vitality and health. And, you know, that both of us have been on such a big journey with this. But for me, it's like I was really capped over my years of expansion and business and, you know, success and you know, growth motherhood and all of that. I was capped by my physical and my energetics because I just wasn't placing enough importance on that area of self-care and, you know, looking after myself, especially after having 3 babies and running multiple $1-million businesses. I just wasn't giving myself the level of self-care I actually really needed postpartum, etc. And so that was where I was constantly coming up to these like limits of like, okay, I want to expand. I want to keep growing. I want to become a better version of myself. I, you know, want to have more energy and all of that, but I'm actually really capped. And so the last 2 years I've been on a really, really big journey of, my physical. I'm like, if I want to hold, you know, like more capacity for the impact that I want to create and this mission that is within me and that drives me and fuels me, and I want to do that from a place of wholesomeness, not from a place of burnout, then I need to 100% focus on this. Yep. So doing things like Zen cleanses. I'm on a current 9-month cell core protocol. You know, changing up my nutrition, different supplements. Like I'm about to, in 2 weeks, I've just invested $5,500 for a private retreat with my, I don't even know what you call her, but she does all sorts of cellular and frequency work and like deep, like she's got so many amazing medical technologies that support the heart and, you know, the cells and all of the things. And I'm like, this stuff is a non-negotiable. Like in business, our vitality is an absolute non-negotiable. Otherwise, as women, we can't do things from a place of joy and pleasure and from what turns us on because we're burnt out and we can barely, like for a time there, I could barely get out of bed. I found it so hard just to get out of bed and function.
Totally. Yeah. And my experience with that was, literally in the postpartum having adrenal fatigue and just, being so exhausted. I was struggling just to live life, let alone take care of a baby and run a business. Yeah, totally. So, I mean, ditto. It's like, what I like to say to my clients and like the whole concept around the Radiant Woman brand is strong body, clear mind, open heart.
Ooh. Hello, mic drop. That is sexy. That is sexy. That literally wraps up what radiant success is, right?
Pretty much. Yeah. It's like we just have to. Like it's not even a choice of, we just have to prioritize our physical body because it's the foundation of absolutely everything. Yeah. Like without our physical body, we're not here on earth. So it's like obviously. Yeah. And something else I like to say is like, it's like, for those of you listening, it's like if you want to, like run $1 million business and have children or multiple children and do all these things, you need a big capacity for that. And it's like you need to perform like almost like a pro athlete. Right? And it's like if you want to perform like a pro athlete, you can't treat yourself like a pleb. It's just not going to work. Yeah. Like pro athletes, they have coaches. They're like they put so much into taking care of themselves so that they can perform at a certain level. And it's like, you're not going to perform like a professional athlete if you're treating yourself like a pleb. It just doesn't work.
Totally. I love that. That's such a great, that's just such a great way to explain it. So so many pieces to this podcast. It was like, we went
Just
in all
went
the
to
places,
all the corners.
We got all the bits and pieces in there. So we want to wrap up with some really exciting news. So as part of my rollout of my podcast, which is, as I said, this is episode 2, which is really exciting. I just love to do giveaways. Like anyone who's part of my community, I'm all about the giveaways. I'm all about the law of reciprocity and generosity. And, I just believe that what we give, we get back. And it's just this big circulation. And so I just did this $19,000 prize pool, which was amazing. And I reached out to Chi and I was like, Chi, I've just launched my podcast and I'm doing these giveaways. Do you think we could actually do a giveaway to keep the giveaway love going for a spot to our Radiant Success retreat that we have coming up? And Chi,
which is a $3,500 ticket, by the way.
And she said yes. So I'm so grateful because obviously it could have been a paid spot. But you were all on board with this, so thank you. Thanks for playing along in the giveaway. So we want to chat about a couple of things, right? Because we've got some really exciting news. So number one is we are doing a very private, intimate retreat there's 11 people on my property in the Byron hinterland. It's 50 minutes inland of Byron, and it's a beautiful property, 30 acres. There's like a dome, there's cabins, there's waterfall, there's swimming holes, there's biohacking stuff of like ice baths and saunas and all of the things. And it's such a wholesome experience coming into nature, getting off grid, getting off the phones, and
so
actually
good.
just like
so nourishing
being, really just like this very nourishing experience.
Yeah.
So what we've done is we've put together a Radiant Success immersion retreat that is 3 nights. It's like 3.5, 4 days with us, where we're actually going deep into both the 80% and the 20%. So the 80% inner work, 20% strategy. And so it's both like, you'll be doing a lot of hot seat coaching and, supporting women to move through life blocks and sabotage and, trauma and, what's basically in the way. What's actually in the way? Like if you've got this big vision for your life and big like dreams for your life, what is actually in the way? So we can like get rid of those. Like the quicker we get rid of that stuff so you can actually be who you are and do what you want to do in the world, like the better. So it's this beautiful blend, right, of like strengths and skills, and then I'm going to be really diving into what is the actual business pieces, like how can we actually get you like creating the impact, success, sales, etc. that you're really here to create, right? And so we're both really going to be in our genius zones, and it's really about that 80-20, but also like the nourishment, the biohacking, like the sisterhood, the being around the people who are also crazy enough to have big dreams and aren't living a normal life. Where you can actually feel like seen and that you belong.
We feel it at home. It's like, yes, I feel home.
And what it means to like get into our body and actually feel and like feel good and feel alive. It's not about feeling all of the, it's going to feel clunky and messy and all of that. There could be pieces that come up, but also the first time I did this work, I felt so alive. I felt liberated. So like liberated,
Yeah.
So that's one of the exciting things. So there's an application form in the show notes. So go and apply. So this is going to be, this podcast launches on, what's the date this Friday? What is the date now?
Today is the 9th of September.
9th. So 10th, 11th, 12th. Is it the 13th, the Friday?
Is it Friday the 13th?
Oscar's going to tell us. He's behind the scenes.
12th.
Okay, here we go. All right, so the 12th. So podcast launch 12th.
Okay.
You have 72 hours. All right, so we're going to announce this on our socials as well. You've got 72 hours. Obviously, you need to listen to the podcast.
I'm learning about the strategy of this as we go.
You need to listen to the podcast. You need to give it a review. So on both Radiant Woman and Freedom with Kristie, give it a review. What did you love?
Give it a
5
review.
stars. Playful out, And then you also need to share it on your social media. So share the links. And then you need to apply. And one person from that application is going to win a spot to our upcoming. We've only got like a couple of spaces left.
Yeah.
One person's going to win a spot to that, which is
pretty amazing.
Like, the retreat, accommodation, food,
everything.
We do beautiful, organic, wholesome, whole food.
Yeah.
So
you just need to get your booty there, and that's
Get your booty there. All right. So that's exciting. So that's number one.
Number one.
Number two.
Number two.
You want to share about number two?
Number two. Oh my God. So this is so hilarious, right? It's like, this is literally the way that we do business, where it's like last night I literally flew in from Vancouver. I passed out at like 8 p.m, woke up at 6 a.m. to my alarm. And then literally as we're driving up here to the podcast studio, we're on the phone literally mapping out this event that we're about to share with you. It's like, this is how we roll, and it gets to be so simple. And so what we have hashed out for you guys is, of total inspiration, is, so Kristie and I are running an event in February of 2026. So it's over the weekend of the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. And it's called Radiant Success Live.
Woo!
So obviously we've got the immersion, which is the retreat where it's very intimate, 11 spots. But this event is for 500 women. So 500, this is for like the badass female entrepreneurs who are here to make lots of money, lots of impact, and just live your fuck yes life. Live the life that is life-giving, where you can just live how we've been talking about today, just following what lights you up. And so what do they need to know? So the whole premises of this event is like, yeah, you're going to get breakthroughs and transformation and strategy, and it's going to be so fucking fun. Like
that's the whole thing.
That's the whole
point.
premise,
It's
right?
fun.
We love to say the more fun you have, the more money you make. That is the whole premise of this event. And so it's like, yes, there's all of the strategy and the transformation pieces, but it's just going to be like a fucking party. Like,
yeah,
there's going to be a whole vibe.
Boring business conference.
No,
Like,
we don't do boring.
I'm so done going to events, and I often don't go to events anyway that are like this, but like I remember back in the day just going to these boring ass business events, which I got some things from them, but I was like, where's the fun?
I know.
Where's the party, And
You're
I
just
started
sitting
running
there the whole day, people are talking. It's like,
and I started running these
now.
events that were like really fun, like people really love coming to the events that I put on, because it's like I've got DJs, and then there's disco balls, and there's like movement, and there's fun, and it's like a big dance party. It's kind of like you're going to like a club, in the middle of the day, but you're also getting like the business and the inner and like
breakthroughs,
all of the things. So yes, it's going to be very, very, very fun, and
exhilarating, expanding, transformational, all of the pieces.
All the things. So 500 women we're doing this for, and without giving too much away, Chi and I are likely not going to be in Australia next year. So this is
all of next year.
This is a big opportunity, right? To come and receive this and be in a space and an environment with other women who are not normies. Not normies. No normies allowed. We're only for the crazies.
The
crazies that are creating the new normal.
Yes.
Oh, I like that.
Oh,
for
yes.
the crazies that are creating the new normal.
Oh,
that's great. Okay, we're just planning it out as we speak.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Do you want me to share the early bird rates and the 3 levels? Okay. So we have the gold, which is literally the Friday and the Saturday, so the 2 full days, and that is for the early bird is $497. And then the VIP is, I love this, there's like so little details in this, but we're just going to share what we do have. So the VIP,
trust it's going to be
just
great.
Trust, exactly. The early bird is for the people who trust, and you just feel the sacral pull, and you're like, oh yeah, exactly. You're like, I'm turned on. Here's my credit card. Let's go.
I'm turned on. I'm not a normie. I'm a crazy that's creating the new normal. So let's go.
I love having fun. I love getting wild with a bunch of other 500 crazy female entrepreneurs. Okay. So the VIP is $797, the investment, and this is early bird. All these rates are early bird. The VIP is you are going to get basically just some more intimate spaces like lunches and things like that, where you're only with Kristie, myself, and the VIPs, like the VIP group. So it's a more intimate space and epic extras add-on. And then the 3rd level, this is the platinum.
This is the la creme.
This is the
creme,
creme de la creme. The platinum is on the Sunday. There's going to be a Sunday morning mastermind just for the platinum. So this is an even more intimate group again, even than VIP. Wait, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
This is hilarious. Sunday morning mastermind with me and Kristie, where you can ask us any questions, have any like breakthroughs, strategy, anything you need to know for your business, impact, money, etc.
And that's in a penthouse.
It's in a penthouse. Awesome. And then and then to close out the most epic weekend of your life and celebrate, in the afternoon, we are going to party on a private yacht.
Yes.
And this is just for the platinum group. And so the early bird investment for that is 1197.
Yeah, perfect. So what we'll do as well.
I really love that we literally just
literally
planned
just
out an
planned
event
this.
on the way to the podcast studio
Yep.
and launched it. This
Yep.
is how we roll, people.
This is how we roll. So we're actually going to throw in, I think, another giveaway. Let's do
You
it.
read my mind, babe.
What should we do? What giveaway are we doing?
Should we give away 2 tickets?
Yeah,
Why not?
one
Should we...
platinum, one VIP.
Yep.
What do you reckon?
I was thinking 1 gold, 1 VIP.
All right.
Yeah.
Why don't we do one of each?
Okay.
We're going to give away 3
All right,
tickets.
let's do 3.
One
okay.
gold, one VIP, one platinum. So
Yep.
again, like you're going to go
Application
into
form?
the application form. There'll be 2 links below. You've got to do what we said before.
Yep.
Comments, 5-star, share it on your stories and apply. And
Yep.
then we will be in touch. And there's also a link if you want to grab your early bird ticket, because prices are going to go up in increments. So
Yeah.
it's on the Gold Coast. We'll give you the event space very soon. And it's on the 22nd weekend of February 2026 before we both head out of Australia.
Yay.
That's it. That concludes our Radiant Success podcast on both The Radiant Woman and Freedom with Kristie. We hope you've enjoyed it and this
So good.
conversation. And we're super excited to dive deep with an intimate group of you at the Radiant Success Immersion Retreat coming up, and also our Radiant Success live in-person 500-person dance party
Yes.
in Feb. All right.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Thanks, babe.